Hey y'all, I'm Carolina Tony. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Today I am near Clemson, South Carolina at the Old Stone Church. And there is a legend, there's a witch buried here. And we are going to go find her grave and learn a little bit about Elizas Grave. But right after the station identification. The Old Stone Church was constructed between 1797 and 1802 by John Rusk, whose family members later on became instrumental in the founding of Texas. It's beginning to rain now, but we've come such a long way, we're not going to let a little rain stop us. The oldest part of the Old Stone Church Cemetery predates the church. So it actually got started in the late 1700s. There are several notable people here. But there's several stories pertaining to Elizas Grave. One was her and her husband were members here at the Old Stone Church, also known as a frontier church. When it became aware to some of the folks in the congregation that old Eliza was a witch, and of course they shunned her and her husband. While they didn't officially kick them out of the church or remove their names from the rolls, they just made it uneasy for them to attend church here. And when Eliza died, they told her husband that she couldn't be buried in the church cemetery. And they said that according to the rules, she was never removed from the rolls and she could. Well, they made allowances and allowed Eliza to be buried here under the conditions that her grave would be set on the far side of the cemetery. As you can see, this first part of the cemetery, the graves are quite old. At the time, that was the far side of the cemetery, and on past that, more modern tombstones. But nonetheless, they said she could be buried, but she had to be buried at the far side of the cemetery, and a wall put up around her grave in order to keep the evil spirits in. Another story, that Eliza came from a very prominent Charleston family, and they had different ways of doing things. And well, let's just say Eliza had a way with a gentleman, and her two brothers came and caught her with a lover, or perhaps someone that wasn't her lover, but she was just with, and her two brothers killed both of them. And because of the evil, wicked thing that she did, still, she had to be buried, contained within the walls. Also, they have said that this grave has been struck by lightning several times, as you can see from the cracks on the top of the tomb. And of course, people have put pennies and tokens there, supposedly to help pay her way into paradise. There are numerous stories as to what happened. There's been even poems written about Eliza. One of them is, "Her grave it lies alone within the cemetery gates, outside the walls of stone, cast aside from hollow ground by pious men in fear, abandoned by all kith and kin, except for brother dear. They laid her body in the ground and turned away in shame. Lightning came 3 times, they say, and struck away her name. So ironically, Elizas' name's not on this grave. It says Brothers Sorrow, perhaps because the brothers were sorry for killing their sister. Now some will say Eliza Huger. Those from on the coast will probably pronounce it Eliza Huger. Nonetheless, it's Huger. I find this quite fascinating. While their grave's there, and apparently there is a lot of ground in between Eliza Huger's grave. Over here is another grave, and from doing some internet research, I found out that they think a Cherokee Indian, in fact, Assiniboia, is buried here. And quite interesting, there's not too much vegetation growing around the outside of the grave. Perhaps it's done like that on purpose, or perhaps something supernatural. Who knows? Well, the rain's beginning to pick up. I hope you have enjoyed our trip to the Old Stone Church Cemetery right outside of Clemson. It's been very informative. Thank you for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a big old thumbs up. Tell your family and friends, but for now, y'all have a good day.